Let's make some money. Stress-free traders here. Tacky, very tacky picture. I'm going to be making some money though in the very near future on simple trades. I love this stuff. I think we've presented now with an opportunity, a real opportunity of a lifetime coming up. There's major changes going on in the world, real kind of fundamental changes, and we've got a parabolic rise in the stock market. It's just presenting us with some fantastic opportunities. I talked about it yesterday about the markets. The more I'm looking into this, you've got unbelievable opportunities to make money. Shorting companies is fantastic. But people, I think, are obviously very cautious about where their money's going to be held up. And obviously gold at this time is just hovering around the 1300 mark. But gold is always a long-term safe bet with crashes. Whenever the economy goes down, gold goes up. As we are at the minute, I mean, gold's doing quite nice as it is anyway, but you're going to get, whenever this crash happens, and a recession, crash, whatever it is, however they keep on pumping money in, so it could go on for another year yet. But when you do get that catalyst, whatever causes it, just wait for see the price of gold, what it does. You'll get a spike and then a pullback probably, as the media machine goes into full flow. If you remember back to the 2008 crash, just look at what happened then. Everyone was knowing months before there was a problem with the mortgage market, and everyone was saying about subprime loans and default rates and all this sort of stuff, and it gradually came into the mainstream media, but there were a lot of people saying about it a lot earlier than that. Then when it actually happened, the big crash, and then you always get the media machine comes in because they want to stem the outflow of money from the markets, so try and pump it back up again with positive media about it. So it's fantastic. You start hearing that whenever you hear these mainstream channels and something clearly is up in the system and everything's been highly valued. You get all the mainstream channels coming out saying, things can get better. It's a great time to buy the dip and all this crap. There are fundamental problems with the market. Everyone knew it, and everyone's running for the hills. It's just the mugs like the mainstream people, normal working people like us, get left hung out to dry every time. But this time we can do it differently because we're a lot more connected, everyone's a lot more aware, and we can make some big money here. The main thing you want to make sure is, feel free to buy, tons of physical gold if you can afford it. Personally, I'll be looking for stable platforms in which I can make money. So your main thing is your broker. You need to look into what brokers you're using, what's their financial stability, how they're insured. Obviously, if they're government backed, the government's going to be having a serious strain on itself. But obviously, if they're regulated, you've got a comeback to make sure you get your money should the broker fail. So I'm not saying that it's going to be that catastrophic, but when you get major downturns and major recessions, if it's a lot of strain on a lot of people, and you just don't know what these companies are up to. So just be smart about it. We can make a lot of money here. And people have been asking for specific tips on stocks and all this stuff. So I've got a lot of short positions in stocks. Like I say, I keep getting stopped out of these positions. I've made a lot of money in them as well, though. So I would, if you want stock picks, then I might look into doing that. But it's just the amount of time it takes up of my time doing all this stuff and put the media out. That's why I've just got back onto YouTube again, so I can put a few things out on here. Gold, if you have a look at gold just quickly, so I don't bore you to death. Here we have Brent crude. That's what we're trading at here. It's at 55. Remember we had that deep pullback. I remember that beginning of 2016 went down to 20. That's a great time to buy actually. I did actually think about it at the time. I thought that was stupidly valued when it went down that low, and I didn't buy. I don't know why I didn't. I got caught up, I think, with everyone else in the fear mentality. You never get your money back. That was stupid valuation. However, if you look how much it's pulled back, I am amazed actually that they didn't manage to ramp it up higher than what they actually do with all the media machine and pumping up they try and do of crude price. They can't hide the fact that inventories and oil stocks around the world are through the roof, and they just can't get any higher out of it. You know, there's a lot of companies, especially these shale companies, I think, are being stretched with its hovering around the 50 mark. So, however, if you go back just quickly to 2008, we're going to have a look at what happened here. Here we go. So we've got September, then this was July, then September was the crash. You could always see it's rolling over. So, was that you look at the peak, was it, do you remember July? I remember back to July 2008. It was the warning signs about the subprime were coming out, basically. And, you can see where the money went. And then September, I think September was the major crash, and that's when everyone started to cack themselves and crap themselves, something's going wrong. And you can see what's already happened before September in the crude price. So crude was down, to what's already dropped off. Yeah, it's down to 110-ish. So, it's done a huge reversal, hasn't it? Now, if people can't smell the coffee there, then, that the rate of that decline is huge, isn't it? So, but it's come down. The problem I've got with this market at the minute is that we've only just come back to the 55 handle. Now, that's a bit worrying for me from a investment point of view. For oil, I'm struggling to see where he's going. I think a trade down to the 25 level will be quite an easy trade. You could put a stop on above the highs over here in 2016. You could put a stop on at 17, just do a trade down if you wanted to trade against the market. I can't see the way they're going to boost it much from there, and it will pull back at least down to the 30. So that'll be an easy trade. I would say you could go for with very limited risk. If you have a look at gold, gold's this is on daily chart we're looking at here, by the way. Sorry. So we got daily. Let's look at what happened to gold in the crash, and the crash goes 2008. So gold's, let's have a look. September. So yeah, there's September here. She had a brief spike, and then it's pulled back. But again, look where it started to roll over again. Let me guess, around July. That's strange enough. So we've got a double top there. So it rolled over. The price of gold rolled over. Something was up there, and then in October we got a bottom, and it just went parabolic from there on. Once people realised, I remember those days. October, November was a terrible time actually. My wife lost her job, and it was terrible around that period. And that was, if I had seen that, I should have been looking at that. But obviously, with my wife losing her job and everything, I was caught up in my own affairs, which is what happens in every crash, and it's not going to happen to me in the next crash because I'm better prepared now. I know what to look for, and this sort of stuff. There's price manipulation going on everywhere here. People know that they monitor the gold price, so. It's trying to go back up and it's been pushed back down, so I've no doubt that there was gold manipulation going on. And here we get an absolute storm of a rise, don't we? I mean, look at that for a trade. Now, if you have a look at today's prices, I think the high there was 19, wasn't it? It's gone up to 1900, and we're now hovering around 13. Let's have a look at this on a weekly. Here we go. So, if the economy's doing badly, retail jobs are being lost everywhere in the States, there's housing bubbles everywhere, politically unstable everywhere. You've got German elections coming up in Europe, you've got Trump on the warpath in North Korea. There's a lot of instability. I would argue, a trade with a bottom at below the low there, so maybe a stop at 1,000 if you want to do it safely. And if we get a crash, and you'll know it's a crash, it's going to go beyond the 2,000 mark. So, that's a long-term trade on gold. Worst case scenario, you can see the drop off here. Worst case scenario is you're going to be. I'll just hold the position, frankly, on gold. Long term, once people, the downside to that trade is if the recession or whatever's coming next turns out to be too severe, and people physically can't afford gold, and the liquidity completely goes over all the markets. You could see extreme volatility in the gold price, so that's the chance of getting spiked out of it. But one to watch very closely as well. Hope you find this interesting, and please subscribe to my channel, like the video, etc. And I will talk to you in the very near future. The weather hissing down rain, hissing down. It's like a lake. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye. Can't turn the video off.